Welcome back, boys. This video is for anyone who feels like there's just more to life than how they're currently living. Like they're just not quite squeezing the joy out of life, and they look around and see everyone else enjoying things and having a good time and going on adventures, and you just think, well, my life's fucking boring. This is shit. So this is a guide based off of a book that I was recommended. I've recently been at a mastermind, my own mastermind in Koh Samui, Thailand. And I met a guy actually afterwards in a villa, recommended me the book Die With Zero. And a lot of this is based off me reading that book. And it's all about how do you die with nothing left in the tank? How do you live a beautiful, fulfilling life? And some key concepts in reframing your brain and the way that you do things, and looking at risk and when you take risk and how you spend your money and how you save and how to become truly successful. So I've put it into a beautiful, comprehensive guide for you all to sit back and enjoy on this beautiful Thursday evening. You only get one shot. This video is to help you make it as exciting, exhilarating and satisfying as it can be to really live life to the edge. Because when you realize, if you really get it in your head and you think one day you'll be sitting there and everything will be coming to an end that you've known, and you look back and think, fuck's sake, why didn't I do that? So this will help you live along the way. I made a choice 3 years ago to spend my life savings at that point, it's about between $10,000 and $15,000, on an adventure of a lifetime, and that adventure was moving to Thailand. The adventure's still going, and I often make my old life savings in a single day. My top days have been like $25,000 or $30,000 in a single day. I'm in a 90% profit business. It's absolutely absurd what that $15,000 chance turned into for me in my life. And I'm not saying that's going to happen for everyone, but for me, this is my reality. Putting that money on the line, living life on the edge of my seat, taking everything that I wanted from life has really gone well for me so far. And I'm just going to show you a little video. This was me just before I moved to Thailand 3 years ago.
Right, it's December 24th, 4 days until I go to Thailand. This is how I spend
Just to jump in here, I was very intoxicated at this point.
Steve, it's my friend. There's Jack. He's called Jack as well.
We were messy motherfuckers. I love Jack. He's one of my best friends from ever since I was young, and he's actually joined. He's just, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this actually. I won't put it out there to the world, but he's doing big things in his life as well. And we've both come a hell of a long way since just falling asleep in my parents' house, fucking drunk.
Later on the YouTube channel.
0 subs, 0 friends in Thailand. I had a few friends. 1 bag, 1-way ticket. Taking a risk.
I've made it through security. Getting on a flight to Bahrain.
This was actually the first time I'd ever even gotten on a plane on my own. I'd been on planes with my friends, but I'd never navigated an airport on my own.
Yeah, I changed for Bangkok at Bahrain basically. First time I've really done this on my own, but I'm doing well so far. It's all pretty self-explanatory.
There's nothing quite like the excitement of starting a new life, of not knowing what's going to happen. Spans the fuck out of your brain. And then we got here. And it's all been a fucking blur. I became a monkey. Ridden a lot of jet skis. Done a lifetime's worth of jet skiing. I'll let you guys watch the rest of that on your own, but it's just to show you that I've used this advice and it's worked for me. Just an example that I'm not just saying this stuff and trying to teach you something I don't know anything about. This is how I live my life personally. The business of life is the acquisition of memories, and in the end that's all there is. That's a very interesting concept. We get so hung up on chasing money, and money's incredibly important, as I'll go into in this video, but the real thing you're after is memories. And I've lived a whole lifetime worth of memories in the last 3 years, more than most people could ever imagine. And it's made me older. I feel like I've lived a full lifetime already. It's given me invaluable wisdom to take through my life, which I'll talk to you about, what experiences to pick, how to get this valuable life upgrade in your own life. The reason I think this is because if you think about the average job, the average person, maybe they get 2 weeks a year they can go on vacation. They can have some real experiences with their friends, maybe a bit in between. So let's say total in the year, including weekends, but most people don't use them well. I'm going to teach you how to use your time well, how to really get some fucking joy out of life in this video. But most people, they get like 4 weeks a year that they actually enjoy, they really enjoy with their friends and family. And I get that every week of the year for 3 years. 150 something weeks I've been doing this now, and that's a lot of years worth of normal people's experience that you're racking up. So I like to think we should destroy the idea of one day I'll do this. If I'd gone along with one day I'll go to Thailand and do my thing, it never would have happened. And this is how you have to live your life. You have to do things now, whether that means planning them on this video, which we'll go through, and setting reachable targets for you to do these things. But nothing is ever at the end of the rainbow. The reason society's got you pinned on work your whole life, retire and get that pot of gold at the end and all the life experience then is so they can keep you working your whole life, because not everybody can do this, but 1% of people can, and not everyone's going to listen to a video like this, and not everyone's is going to do it. So that means you can. But I just want to tell you now, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow doesn't fucking exist. The time is now. Keep that in your head. The retirement paradox. Young, active, healthy equals ability to experience life to the full. You probably get, if we're talking experiencing life to the full, you get 40 years at best. Between the ages of probably 20 and 60. At 60, I'm not saying you can't enjoy life. You absolutely can. But a lot of things are starting to decline when you're 60. If you're lucky, you're in good health at 60, you're still not experiencing things in the same way with the same lust for life as you were in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. So really, you should be planning your life for those next 40 years. Because in my head before, I was thinking like, I'll live to 100. So I'm like, and I still think I will. But when you think like that, it expands your horizons. But you've got to think, what's the period of time you can actually really enjoy life? Because when you're old, stagnant and unhealthy, you have the ability to reminisce on past experience. That's why nostalgia is so important. Nostalgia is that bittersweet feeling of looking back on the things you've done with your life. That's what the ages after 65 are spent doing with your family, reliving old memories, getting new memories, but not in the same way. So why on earth would you leave the lust for life, the experiences that you really want? Why would you leave them to the end? Why are we so convinced that you should leave the good stuff? By then you should have already lived by the time you retire. And you should be just reliving the stories with your boys, with your family, passing on the wisdom to other people. Just before we go into this, I'm not saying don't save. I'm not saying spend all your money on crazy experiences. Always save at least 10% as a backup fund. You have to be smart, but you also have to spend. And it's more about what you spend money on than whether or not you spend. Because everybody's spending, but you can reallocate funds that you're spending on bullshit and put them into real life experience that expand who you are as a person. One of the ways you can do this is cut the bullshit expenses. This is luckily something I don't really have to worry about. And for a lot of you, in a point of financial abundance, this is really a mindset shift for you, this video, rather than a not having the money. You've got the money, but you're spending far too much time working or doing stuff that you don't really enjoy, when you could be limiting that work to a certain amount of time and getting the same amount done, and really figuring out some experiences to use that money well, and not thinking that it's always going to be there and that you have to have this big pot at the end of the road. The goal is to die with zero. The goal is to die with nothing left in your body and nothing left in the bank, to give it all away or to spend it all, and to arrive as a bag of bones ready to go to heaven, as I believe. But stuff like, if you're a young guy and you maybe don't earn a lot of money, you're probably still spending money on fast food, Starbucks, video games, partying, that sort of stuff. All of this money shouldn't be spent on that when you have little money. That money should still be spent, because the savings you get are very small at low earning rates, but they should be spent on experiences that widened your mind, travel, and self-development, stuff that allows you to earn more, because they have the incredible potential to put you in place with the right people and make you rich, make you a more experienced, well-traveled person. The utility and usefulness of money declines with age. A lot of people don't realize this. They want a big pot of gold when they're older, but if you ever speak to your grandparents or people that are older that you're close to, they don't want anything. They don't want to buy anything. They're bored of everything now. They just want to give to other people. So the usefulness and utility of your money is when it's young. So don't stick it in the bank and let somebody eat away at it for the whole time and not have any experience. Gain experience, because the money's always coming back. Here's an example of this. Your potential ROI on 10k saved versus spent. Let's say you save 10k, like I had 10 or 15 grand saved up. Your money is being eaten by inflation at quite ferocious rates currently. True rates are pretty hard to find, but things are getting more expensive. If you save 10k now, and let's say you make some of the best investments you could do in low risk bonds or low risk, I don't even know what they're fucking called, because you know I'm not in them. Any of that stuff that fucking people do that gives them a slow increase in wealth over time. Let's say you make those really good investments and it grows for the next 30 years and you have 500k. Highly unlikely already, but let's just say you do. That 500k is now only worth 250k in spending power. You spend 10k on experiences, on leveling up yourself, going traveling, meeting new people, spending the money whilst it's worth something, whilst you have the age on your side to enjoy the experiences, and that opens doors. Living a life like that opens doors and lessons that make you rich, that make you 250k in a month, that make you 500k in a month. That's what connects you with those people, is spending that money. A lot of guys don't think like this in their younger years, but you're at literally the lowest earning capacity you could possibly have. 18, 19, 20, in your 20s, in your 30s. You're earning the least amount of money you're ever going to earn. So it's okay to spend it on getting better. What's the point in saving your last $1,000 that you've got if you're not going to spend it on experience and leveling yourself up? Because you don't be making the same amount of money for your whole life. It's also another interesting theory that I thought about during reading this book. The reason parents send their kids to university, it's more for the USA because it costs a hell of a lot of money, but they're investing in their future. That's why still in the UK parents let their kids go to university and advise it, because they think if they go to university they're going to make more money. It's a lovely concept, except the skills needed for freedom, adventure and a life of true abundance are not taught in universities. Very rarely are they taught in universities. Universities teach you to become a modern slave and sell you the pipe dream that the good life is at the end of that. But as we can see from these slides we've just gone through, the good life is now, when you can enjoy and experience your money. The good life is not at the end of working for someone else for 50 years and having a little pot of gold. So all of that is a scam. I know we need doctors, I know we need lawyers. I'm not saying don't go and do that. If that's your passion, go for it, go and do that stuff. But for 99% of people, university is a big waste of money, and the real investment should be made in your networking, your traveling and your experience, because that's going to put you in the right path to go on to become successful. So why do travel and experiences make you more valuable as a man? And the reason why is because you face a wide variety of problems. I can't tell you how many problems I've faced since I came to Thailand when I was 21 or 22 years old. Since I came to Thailand at 22, I've faced an incredible amount of personal, business, life problems that I had to solve. And the more problems you solve in all areas of life, the more valuable you become. So you should be seeking problems, and one of the most beautiful and adventurous ways of doing this is to put yourself in a new environment, in a new place, to learn new things. The potential ROI on experience, therefore, is infinite, because you don't know what you're going to learn, how valuable you're going to become from the experiences you gathered, whilst also living and enjoying your life. What should you actually put your time and saved money into? I think anything that expands your mind, pushes your limits, opens new doors, and surrounds you with better people. The experiences to avoid are anything that involves the partying, the drugs, that kind of lifestyle. But the things you should be spending your money on are these things that expand your mind, open opportunities for you, not anything that's going to destroy your mind, destroy the way you think about yourself, which is what most people do. The few experiences they have when they're younger, the money that they save up from their job, they spend on a fucking festival and get completely off their face, or they go to Ibiza, which I've done, which I can say is a terrible, terrible idea. For example, I don't know how much Ibiza cost us, but it was a fucking fortune. Not just the price of the trip. The trip was about $6,000, but the fucking whole thing cost me probably about 30 grand because I got all my stuff stolen. There's a video about that if you didn't know about that. But you can climb Mount Kilimanjaro, one of the craziest mountains in the world, but for between $2,000 and $6,000, with flights, with guide, with everything included. The experience of a lifetime, remembered forever with your friends, with huge personal growth potential from what you learn doing something like that and the person you become. for the same price as 3 months of fast food and partying for somebody who's earning $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month. If you've got a fairly unhealthy lifestyle, you're probably spending that already. So all you have to do is cut from those places and think about how many more experiences you can put in your life that have uncapped potential for who you become. What I want you to do is create an experience list for the next 5 years. We'll go a little bit further into how you should chunk up your years, but this is one that I've just done. A few questions to ask yourself. What experience can you only have in your early years based on health? Things that you want to put on the bucket list now, because when you're older and this time creeps up on you, or when you have kids and you can't maybe do the things you wanted to do, the risky things, make a list of those experiences that need to be done soon. Get them down on a list, set a date, get some buddies together or do them on your own and put them in there right now. And if you're a business person, like myself, an entrepreneur, and you have money but you have no time, how can you spend money to free your precious time? Because time's what you got, and memories are how we keep track in this game. How many memories do you end with of life experiences, and how much of your life force, the actual time you have on this planet, do you spend doing stuff you want to do? You shouldn't be spending it doing shit you don't want to do all the time, which kind of makes sense in my head. Time buckets. Time buckets are buckets of time, and I think you should put your life on a timeline of usable, experienceable years, and then you figure out, fuck, this is actually quite short, let's start getting some stuff in and put it into 5-year buckets. So make a little 5-year, 20 to 25 list of 5 things you want to do. Next one, 25 to 30, list of 5 things you want to do. It can be start a business, it can be work remote, it can be any of these things. It doesn't have to be climbing mountains and stuff, though I recommend that would be cool. And do it all the way up to 60, 65, start planning this stuff out. If it doesn't get planned, if you don't think about it, it never gets done. This is just an example of 5 life-changing experiences that I would like to have, and schedule one of them into the next 6 months. So these are just some that I came up with when I was doing this video, because it's something I want to put into my life too, because I find myself working, even though I love my work and what I do. Sometimes I find myself, I don't take time away from work. Everything I do is work related. Maybe I just want to go and climb a mountain with my buddies and not have a camera on it and not be making content, and just live some actual life where I'm super present. So a few of mine, climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I'll definitely do that this year. All right, it's out there now. Pardon me. Stayed at a ski chalet for 7 days. 4 of my closest friends. I love skiing. I just love the snow. I want to spend a month living in a log cabin in the snowy mountains. I don't know where I'll do this or when I'll do this, but I really like the idea of just being in a log cabin up in the mountains. Absolutely, like, know where I can go, sitting there and writing a book or something, writing down my stories and my life. Spend a month as captain of a sailboat. I think it'd be challenging, it'd be tough, there could be danger involved, and I think it'd be an incredibly fun thing to do. And drive supercars with my friends on a road trip. Maybe the Gumball Rally, I've heard about that, through Europe, drive supercars through Europe. This is stuff that I could do it all, I got the money to do this. But I never schedule it into my life, because it always feels like, oh, I'll do that next year, I'll do that at some other time when things aren't so busy. And the thing I've got to get in my head, and you've got to get in your head, is everything's always going to be busy. We have to carve out time to do this stuff along the way, because it will come a day where it would be such a shame if we look back and think, fuck, I'm 65 years old, I can't climb Mount Kilimanjaro anymore. Though I'm sure people have at that age. But it's not going to be as fun. Some of you will look at this stuff as a risk, and as we round up this video, I'll just talk to you a little bit about how I think about risk. So I don't take any risks that have no potential upside, whereas I did a lot when I was younger, taking drugs and drinking a lot, partying, things like that. Gambling has a slight potential upside, but in the end you're always a loser. I only take risks now when there's potential upside and experience, spending some money to do something, to get around a person where there's big potential upside, and I take no risks with only potential downside, stupid things. So upside is all about experience. That's basically, when you look at taking a risk, how much experience, how many opportunities could you gain from that potentially? That's when you look at taking that risk. So boys, that's all I've got for you today. If you want to join us, a bunch of adventurers and risk takers, you want to join the New Elite and have some of these things planned for you, join us on our adventures that we do as a network with entrepreneurs around the world. Go and check out the New Elite in the link below. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure giving you a little PowerPoint back, switch things up a little bit, and I'll see you tomorrow on the next one. Whoop!